Hey guys, welcome to Home Sweet Homeschool. If you're new here, my name is Ashley and I'm a homeschooling mom to one. And in today's video, we're going to do a flip through of the newest unit from Gather Around Homeschool, Intro to Psychology. Today I'm going to share with you the teacher's guide, the middle school notebook, and the Seatwork Journal. Now, I have a middle schooler, my son is in 7th grade, so I purchased the middle school notebook. I do have a friend here on YouTube named Kristen. Her channel is Pearls and Oak. And she also has a flip through of this, but on her channel, you'll be able to see the early reader notebook and the early reader Seatwork. So I'm going to link her video down below so you can go and check her out so you can see inside of those things. But I'm going to share with you what's in the middle school notebook. So what we're actually going to start with, and let me just go ahead and move these out of the way, is the Seatwork Journal. And there is a little bit of a glare because of my ring light, but this I actually got the digital of. So I pre-ordered year 3, so those come in print to me as they're made. But these add-ons, like the Seatwork journals, those are add-ons, and you can get them in print or digital. So this digital Seatwork add-on was $10.95. So it's sent to you. You can download it right from the website, and you can print off exactly what you need. If you want the hard copy, they're $14.95. One thing I want you to note, when you order it, not only do you need to select the level, but you need to select if you want manuscript or cursive. So when we're working on things like spelling, I don't worry so much about his cursive handwriting. I feel like those are two separate things, but you may want to knock it out all in one go. So you could select cursive, but I selected manuscript for my son. So do know that cursive is an option. So this is the digital version of it. So I want to show you what it looks like. Now this is totally optional. You can do the units without this Seatwork journal. This is just for those people who want this curriculum to just be open and go, and they don't have to find other ways to add on spelling or figure out how to use the Seatwork pages. This is the answer to that. She listens. And when I say she, I mean Rebecca and her team. They listen. If you have any concerns or any suggestions, email them at support@gatheraroundhomeschool.com, and they listen. And people were having trouble with the Seatwork pages. What do we do with them? How do we use them? So this is kind of her answer. So let me show you what's inside. So you do have a welcome page that kind of just tells you about it. You have copywork, dictation, and spelling corner. And then on page 2 is your vocabulary, a character trait, current events, and then there is grammar. Now, you're probably going to say, well, is there not grammar inside of the unit study? Yes, there is, but the grammar is not every day. So if you're looking for a little bit of grammar every day, this is a great way to get it right here in your Seatwork journal. Close these blinds here. Sorry about that. It's decided to be sunny all of a sudden. So, all right. So let's look at this. So here's the table of contents. If you want to check that out, it just kind of gives you the title of the lesson and then what your child will be doing. And then I'm just going to let you see an example of a couple of days' work. So this would be for lesson 1. Here's their copy work. Here is the spelling corner for them. Now do know that this looks different depending on the level journal that you get. So I'll show you a couple of days to what they have to do as far as spelling. This one, they have to read the word and then write it. These blank spaces are for any words that you notice that your child is misspelling just in their everyday writing. You can add it onto here. So that is the spelling corner of day 1. This is still day 1. And they have their vocabulary where they write the definition in their own words, character trait, current events, and then here's a little bit of grammar. Here's day 2, copy work. Today they're going to write at least 4 sentences using their spelling words. Then they have their grammar, vocabulary, character, current events. So you're going to see the same topics on each page, but what they're asked to do will be a little different. Here is day 3. So the spelling corner is a little different. You're going to read each spelling word and write it 2 times on the lines provided. And there is their vocabulary and grammar. And then the last day, because this is meant to kind of be a 4-day week, they would write the spelling word as the parent reads it. They would write it down, and then there's a place for dictation. So that's what you're going to see throughout this journal. So you are getting grammar every day. So if you're looking for something like that, you may want to purchase this add-on and try it for yourself. This is our first time using it. So I'll let you know after we use it for this unit how we liked it. So that is the Seatwork Journal. There is an appendix. If you go to the back, and you are just going to find things like a spelling cheat sheet, which is just all of your spelling words. You're also going to have a vocabulary cheat sheet. And then you have, let's see here, the answers to the grammar. So, like I said, I printed this at home. This was the digital copy. All right, now let's go into the teacher's guide. Now, I know that Kristen has this on her channel, so if you've already watched the flip through, definitely you can skip through this part if you want to. But if you haven't watched it, here we go, because I have flip throughs of a ton of Gather Round units. You can find them in my Gather Round Homeschool playlist if you want to see some past units. This is the teacher guide for Intro to Psychology. This just shows that this can be resold because I did purchase it from them. You want to scan this. This is a QR code. You want to scan this with your phone's camera, and it will take you to all the resources you need, the planning pages, the scope and sequence, the book list. All of that's going to be found there. If you haven't already downloaded the app for Gather Round, you need to do that. All right, so this just kind of explains it all if you're new, so you want to make sure you read that. You want to check this out here if you do not already follow them on Facebook and Instagram. There you go. Again, the psychology resources in the QR code. Table of contents, so it's 20 lessons. It's meant to be a 4-day-a-week program, 4 or 5 weeks. But again, like with any homeschool curriculum, you can use it any way that you want to. Then you have your recitation page. If you'll notice, we have these colored brackets, and I'm about to explain to you what those are. Again, she was listening, she being Rebecca. People were saying, you know, I'm losing my kids as I'm reading this. I can't hold their attention. You know, I don't want to have to paraphrase. What can we do? So here you go. This page right here is something you're going to want to read, okay? You're going to want to read this because this page here explains everything. So the yellow is going to be for your level of 1 attention spans, and you know your children better than anybody else does. So even though it says pre-reader and early reader, if you have a child who just can't sit through it, you may want to just read yellow. Level 2 is going to be yellow and teal. So that's the level 2 attention spans. And then your older students, your middle and high, they can read all sections, including purple, and the purple just contains more sensitive or in-depth information. So definitely want to read this so you know what's up. Also, there is an add-on journal that's available on the website. The journal, a hard copy of the journal is $14.95. A digital copy of the journal is $12.95. And it's just to go along with the devotion, which is right here. You do not have to purchase that. That's up to you. Your children can just use a blank notebook, or they can just pray to themselves or talk to you, whatever you want to do. But it is there, okay? Now, again, it says, not sure what the brackets mean. Make sure you read this page. So we're going to flip through some of these lessons so you can see what it looks like. This is your family devotional here. This is related to the lesson, and you have one for every lesson. Incoming messages. I love the did you know? There are some extension activities. You'll find these on the resource page when you scan the QR code. And then you have a hands-on activity, and here's your day at a glance. Okay. Lesson 2 is the control center. You're going to see bold words. Those are the vocabulary words. And for my son, even though he's in middle school, I go over all of them with him just to make sure he understands. This is the anatomy of a brain. Myth alert, hands-on activity. Lesson 3, different departments. Here's your yellow, here's your purple, here's your teal. So you'll know exactly what to read for your child's attention span. This says, trigger warning. This section mentions suicide and is intended for middle school and high school students, or is something you may want to avoid. So just letting you know that. And then there's hands-on activity. Lesson 4, what is psychology? It's a timeline alert, hands-on activity. And then here's an extension activity. You do not have to do the hands-on. You don't have to do the extensions. You make it work for you. Lesson 5 is sensory inputs. There's a lot of notebooking prompts. So this just says pull out your notebooking page and fill in this section. I do love when it says that because I feel like it gives my son a purpose. You know, this is what you're listening for. Here's another trigger warning. This one, in case you're wondering what it's about, this section mentions abortion, and so it's intended for middle and high school students, or you may want to avoid it. Lesson 6, responses. And this talks about what triggers are. Hands-on activity. Lesson 7 is fear. All kinds of phobias. How to combat fear. Hands-on activity. Perspective. Another hands-on. Lesson 9 is pay attention. This is quick facts about attention, how to improve your attention, and a hands-on activity. Lesson 10 is learning. Notebooking prompt again. There's an extension activity, how to improve learning, hands-on activity. Lesson 11 is about language. How we learn language, how we learn a second language, how we process language. This is out of the box and a hands-on activity. Lesson 12 is thinking and problem solving. Another extension and hands-on. And this one says a middle and or high school prompt here. And then it says another warning. This article is about abortion, so please only recommend it to older students who are ready. So make sure you read that. I always like to preview the lesson before I read it to my son. Okay, developing minds is lesson 13. This talks about music heals. Here's hands-on activity. Lesson 14 is emotions. Some interesting facts. Another hands-on. Motivations. Here's your motivational ecosystem. Intrinsic and extrinsic motivators. Hands-on activity. Behavior. Positive and negative behaviors. So as you can see, there's tons of hands-on, tons of extensions. Lesson 17 is about personality and how you develop your personality. And then you have a hands-on activity. Lesson 18 is all about memory. There is an extension and hands-on. Lesson 19 is about dreams. Why do we dream? What about nightmares? Interesting facts. And then your last lesson is social psychology. Let's talk about the power of social media. Hands-on activity, answers. And then for the appendix, this just has the endnotes and the resources. Remember, you're going to find the planning pages, the scope and sequence, the book list. All of that is going to be on that QR code. You're going to scan that QR code. You can also find it if you go to their app, you join a community, you look for year 3. You're going to want to join Intro to Psychology. And if you click on the resources page, that's where you're going to find all your stuff. So that was the teacher's guide. And now let me show you the notebook, the middle school notebook. I do want to make sure it's in frame because it's hard to do these bound at the top books here. So this is the middle school notebook. Like I said, check out my friend Kristen's page, Pearls and Oak, if you want to see early reader. There are samples of all the levels on the Gather Round website, but I just wanted to show you up close what it looks like. So they do have a welcome to psychology. The one thing I want you to note is the pages are going to vary slightly from some of the younger notebooks, and that's because they're trying a new system of leveled reading sections. And so that means that the content in the middle schoolers' lesson is going to be more in-depth and sensitive than what the younger levels are learning about, and your pages in your notebook reflect that. So that's on this page. Then you have your table of contents. This shows what the subject focus is for each of the lessons. And of course it goes on to the back. Here's their recitation page. They need to memorize all of it if they can. Now, here's the Seatwork. If you're not wanting to purchase the Seatwork Journal, this is the Seatwork page. This is what we've been doing. We've just been pulling these spelling words and using a variety of ways to practice them. We don't even use the Seatwork pages. So that's why I'm trying out the Seatwork Journal, just to see if we like it. Who knows? But that's what these are. If you buy the digital copy, of course, you could just make your own copies of these. But you have one for each week for 5 weeks, okay? So let's show you this. So this is lesson 1. I want to make sure I have it in frame. Lesson 1, this is their notebooking page. So you read the lesson. They have these pages to do when you're done. They're going to label the neuron, talk about the nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic, and then their vocabulary. Now, if you're already doing the Seatwork Journal, you've already covered vocabulary. So I don't know that we'll actually do that part. Okay, let's see what else they're doing. Okay, so this is their writing project. My son's going to love this because his favorite type of writing is creative writing. And so here they're learning about making an entertaining story. So they read a simple story and a funny story, and then they have this page here to write their own entertaining story. So if your kids love creative writing, this is going to be the unit for them because that's what this one's all about. Okay, so they're also going to do, this is science and math, and it talks about speedy messages, and then it tells you about an extension activity that you can find on the resource page to do along with this. And then we have map your nervous system. So this talks about fight, flight, homeostasis, and freeze. And then also for lesson 1, they have art. Beautiful nerves. You're going to make a nerve using a straw, a small round brush, watercolor paper, and watercolor paint. Awesome, right? So let's go a little further back. How about we go to... Let me do lesson 6, just to give you another glimpse into it. So here is lesson 6. This is the notebooking page, responses to stress, triggers, beliefs, vocabulary. And then let's see what the writing is for this. So this talks about when you understand the why behind your reactions, what triggers those responses, and the consequences that go along with them, you can begin to learn from your own experiences. So this talks about fables. So they're going to read the fable and then write their own. That's awesome. Okay, and then this is called a reaction plan. So this talks about, you put the emotion up here, the why, what does the Bible say, and the prayer. And this is a character study. This is your Bible. So you have a verse, what was happening, when questioned, what was Peter's response. You can dig deeper here. All right, and there's one more for lesson 6. And that is history. Deadly comet headed toward Earth. So you read all of this and answer the questions. Now let's go a little further back. Let's go all the way to 20. How about that? Let's see what is in lesson 20. All right, so lesson 20, your science and language arts, social effects and experiments, vocabulary, social media. And then this is editing and revision. So it says you pull out your favorite creative writing project from this unit and you edit it to make it better. And so it gives you some editing tips. So you're going to do a lot of writing. And then here's a social experiment that you can do. It has experiment ideas. And then this is all about social media. And then let's see what this is. Oh, so it's some narration. So here's some questions on narration. How about we go to, I wanted to show you some grammar because I wanted you to see that there is some grammar in here. So let's look at lesson 4. I know this is kind of flip-flopping around, but I wanted you to see there is grammar in the unit. So here's your notebooking for lesson 4. And then you have conduct a study. So this is your social studies. And then this is the language arts. So you've got Latin and Greek roots. So you're talking about prefixes and suffixes, and then there's a bonus. So like I said, this is not in every lesson, but there is grammar inside of it. So don't think that it's only in the Seatwork Journal. It's still going to be inside of the unit here. All right, I do like to go to the appendix just so you can see what that looks like. And I'm sorry I don't flip through the whole thing. It would just take me forever to flip back and forth with all these. So you do have the spelling cheat sheet here. And you also have, on the other side's vocabulary. Then you have brain lobe bingo. Fun. That's on front and back. And then this is the game cards for it. So that's in there. Here's a page to collect and analyze data. Data, whatever you want to say, data, who knows. Testing the senses. It tells you what lesson you're using it for and what lesson you're using it for and what page. So, guys, that is it. That is Intro to Psychology. So, like I said, these are the printed versions that come from Gather Round themselves. You can order it in print or in digital. You really have to find out what works out best for your family. So, if you like this kind of video and you want to see more, I have a Gather Round Homeschool playlist where it has tons of flip throughs of almost every unit. And we haven't completed all of them, but this is our 3rd year with them and we have done a lot. So you may just find what you're looking for. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and you stick around. If you have any questions about Intro to Psychology or Gather Round or homeschooling, whatever, you can ask me down in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching.